Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot, I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. Beat one code. Switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. Beat one thing.
What's growing on? What is growing on? What is growing on? Welcome back to the B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris, and we also have Farmer Brown, the MC. Here at B1 Ag, we focus on Black agriculture as it pertains to agricultural production, education, marketing, health, food, nutrition, and economics, all for the Black family and for the Black community. Welcome Black to the garden. Today, we're going to talk about rapper Travis Scott. Travis Scott was born in Houston, Texas. Shout out to all my folks down there in Houston, Texas. Now, he's getting ready to kick off his Astro World Festival today. And while he's in his hometown, he decided to open a community garden in his old neighborhood at an elementary school. And this is a great thing. And this is something I wish more artists, more athletes would do, is opening up community gardens, giving access and knowledge of growing to the people on how to grow their own food, especially the children. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Is how Travis Scott is he's actually honoring his grandmother by opening up this community garden at this Houston elementary school, because she was the one who inspired him with her garden as he grew up as a child. Farmer Brown, let's dive deep, bro.
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well. Once again, another win for hip hop. Here at B1 Ag, we like to focus our conversation around food security, specifically in the melanated community. And I would like to say a disclaimer: gardening, farming, whichever piece of when we talk about food production, it is work. It does require sweat. It does require time. It does require finances. Whether on a large scale or small scale. And so when we have these discussions, I wouldn't want any of the family to think that we're just saying, hey, this is a perfect bullet that's just going to fix everything. It does require effort. But another principle of B1 Ag is we understand there's different forms of capital to achieve this B1 food security. What Travis Scott represents, not only his social capital as somebody that the hip hop generation and people in general recognize, is bringing attention to this very important part of a food system, but he's also invested some of his financial capital. And so we have a lot of moving pieces going on right now, and we look forward to deep diving into this discussion. But I would just like to say salute.
Travis Scott's Astro World Fest is this weekend in Houston, but the rapper already popping up around town, and the Houston native is also making time to give back.
Yeah, Brittany Ford takes us to Young Elementary in Sunnyside, where Scott surprised students with a gift close to his heart.
Growing up with strong roots in the Sunnyside community.
We grew up like not too far from here in Rosehaven.
Surrounded by his grandmother's love of gardening.
She used to have a garden in her backyard that looks similar to this.
Travis Scott is planting seeds.
We saw a little some of that, you know what I mean?
And hopes to grow.
And hopefully it gives like these kids some sort of inspirational thing to do every day and kind of help them look forward to the future.
That same appreciation for the kids here at Young Elementary. Scott's nonprofit Cactus Jack, in partnership with HISD, unveiled this campus garden Wednesday.
We are going to have the kids out here growing things.
Which will be used to teach students early on the importance of healthy eating habits.
Just talking about nutrition. A lot of our kids like fast food, so we're showing them that you can grow things at your house and it's just as yummy.
The stop, one of several on Scott's list, giving back to the Houston community ahead of his Astro World concert taking over NRG Park this weekend.
So ready, man. Hope you ready.
But Scott says the tilling in this garden,
I think every so often we're going to try to help grow this out
is one he plans to see
to something like more bigger and better.
sprout. Brittany Ford,
Keep coming to come check in on it.
KHOU 11 News.
As your pet gets
Build Black better. Build Black better. Once again, here at B1 Ag, we like to talk about, some of the solutions. This actually came out, it's on topic but off. This came out of the USDA today. And so when we talk about the Build Back Better initiative, talking about climate change, the USDA will receive $90 billion through the Build Back Better bill to mitigate climate change, reduce risk of wildfires, provide debt relief for economically distressed farmers, and encourage rural growth. And so saying that to say here at B1 Ag, we like to kind of keep our ear to the street and ear to the farms as to what's going on a national and international level. I don't know if Travis Scott was aware of all of the bags that are being thrown when it comes to food security, securing these communities, but all of this ties together. None of this is isolated. Here at B1 Ag, we help the melanated family is really focusing on some of these moving pieces that aren't necessarily promoted to us every day. A lot of the things we see on social media, a lot of the things we see in general media tend to entertain us. But there's also a lot of, I'll say, opportunities for us to really reassert ourselves within this thing that we call agriculture. And something as simple as starting a community garden where you're at. You don't have to be a rap star. We do understand if you are a rap star, you're a entertainer, and you have, influence. These are things that you can do to give back. I doubt that Travis Scott, because he's touring, he's going around the world doing his craft. And so I doubt he's going to be at these gardens every day working with the kids. But what he said was, I'm planting this seed now, and I hope to expand it. When we talk about our food security, when we talk about planting these seeds with our children, this is something simple that can be done.
Did you see all the people dancing, all the people jumping, all the people that were just moved by his music? That was a great visual. Now, I would hope that the same people that are inspired by his music, that are so engaged with his music, would be engaged with his message that he's sending out towards planting these seeds for the future, especially with our kids and growing food. That would be my goal. That would be heaven for me, just to see that many people engaged in growing food as they are engaged and inspired by his music.
The other day we were talking about the 16 million melanated individuals in North America that are food insecure. Food insecure means I don't know if I'm going to have a meal today. There's a difference between I don't know how much I'm going to eat versus I don't know if I'm going to eat. And so we have 16 million within the melanated community. The community that he did this garden in Houston, they're a part of that 16 million. And so just being able to plant that seed of knowing how to produce your own food, actually having a real tangible location, as we throw this word tangible around, we can talk all day about, hey, we need to grow our own food, but what are we doing as communities, wherever we're at across the diaspora, to really create these opportunities for these individuals? We see that there's, like I said, a big bag in altruism. And a lot of times, 30, 40, up to 50% of our just financial donations don't even go to the communities or the individuals that need the help. And so when we're able to really codify around that, what does my help look like in a real world? It's community gardens. When we think about communities that have a lot of distressed properties, this is a way to fight gentrification. We have met some beautiful people down at the All Black National Convention down in Orlando. They were using gardens, community gardens, to fight gentrification, because when you're growing food, you can't encroach on that property. And so when we're wanting to be real strategic, this is a weapon. It's actually a beneficial weapon. But within this 16 million, and just to put this in a numeric perspective, we know that it takes 200 square feet worth of produce to feed an individual per year. If you're a family of 4, it's 800 square feet. We know to feed 16 million hungry individuals, that would take 73,462 acres. This is across North America. The numbers, we have a recent census that came out that let us know where these communities are at. And so if you multiply what Travis Scott did, it makes me think about Moneybagg Yo, makes me think about Lil Boosie, who said, buy acres, not designer. Makes me think about all of these individuals, Rick Ross. Makes me think about all of these individuals who've been putting these drops in the buckets. And so as a melanated community who cares, as a melanated community with a growth mindset, how can we make it rain on these operations? How can we replicate these same moves that are being made towards making ourselves food insecure? Not to jump off on the deep end, but it came across my Nook timeline that come January the 4th, let's go Brandon. Brandon decided that they want to make sure 100 million people have a interview or have an appointment with Dr. Jabinski. As a part of this, the corporations that employ 100 people or more are being required to send their employees to meet with Dr. Jabinski. So either way, either side that you stand on when it comes to that gene therapy is going to affect the melanated family. So we know that there's 16 million that's food insecure now, and this is with the people that still have jobs. And so we know inevitably, trends that this number is going to increase. And so instead of being in a reactionary mode, instead of being mad once we see how these things trickle down and manifest to each of our lives and family members, how can we be proactive? Planting the garden, we're going into the fall and winter. And so strategically speaking, this is the best time to start planting your spring garden. As it starts getting colder, this is a good time to start finding seeds. There's a lot of co-ops. There's a lot of seed banks that you can find seeds from. We encourage you to reach out to us at b1aghiphop@gmail.com. We love to share some of the information that we have as far as planning your garden, planning your growth operation. We have to feed the people. We understand that the so-called powers that be have a plan for the 5 through 11-year-olds right now to keep them healthy. Here at B1 Ag, we understand a big part of health, the original part of health, was feeding yourself healthy food. And the food that's being grown from the ground, I don't think you can get more healthier than that.
Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's push this algorithm. Let's push this algorithm. We're pushing the black algorithm. We're fighting against the algorithm by pushing the black algorithm. So it's going to take you to like, share, and subscribe to the B1 Ag Daily Bread podcast on YouTube. Subscribe. Let's grow this conversation. Let's make sure that we all are aware of what's going on, what's growing on with our food system, and let's make sure that we are food secure and that we secure our proverbial seat at the dinner table. Because as we talked about yesterday, food insecurity, hunger, poverty, that produces desperation. And when you are in a desperate mindset, you will act rashly and do things that you normally would not do. And that manifests itself in many ways that is not positive. not positive for that person who is in desperation, and it's not positive for the people that are around that person in desperation. And as we see, it opens up the door for exploitation. So let's make sure that we stay food secure. Let's make sure that we have our seat at the dinner table. Let's make sure that we all eat. It's a God-given right. We all have to eat. We all have the right to eat. So let's make sure that we all eat.
I'd like to say peace to the brother Leroy Fisher Shabazz. We got some very important information coming to the family real soon. But when we think about FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, as a melanated family, we really got to start thinking seriously, not in a desperation standpoint, but just being on code is forming emergency plans. But because of the science of emergency management shows that when a nation falls, the next or new nation starts with a successful agricultural phase. On that note, before we connect local disaster teams to Black farmers, those that call themselves Supreme has to devastate the potential masses of melanated consumers of Black farm products. When we have this conversation about getting Black to the garden, building Black better, there is strategy. There is so much deeper than just let's plant some cute gardens. Let me just grow a couple of things I can throw into a salad. We have to be very codified in all of our respective communities on a just in case scenario. Just in case things go awry, do I have enough like-minded individuals within my community? We're not going to sit up and curl up in a ball, be ostriches, put our heads in the sand and just, oh my God, what are they going to do to us? No, it's, what do they say? Stay prepared and you don't have to get prepared. And so a big part of this is being able to eat. Peace to the brother Maj Teray. There is definitely a need for protection. Firearms. Personally, I'm a proponent of firearms, but I know if you're not eating, what are you protecting? If you're not able to live, breathe because you have a healthy food supply, what are you protecting? And so there's a mixture of all of this. We've been fortunate on our journey to meet a lot of brothers and sisters who are already on this path. And so one of the goals of B1 Ag is just to galvanize the minds around this conversation. To really have these conversations, it's not going to be everybody. There's some people that believe in the concept of the talented 10th. There's some people, such as myself, I believe there'll be a third. When we start talking biblical, okay, they said 2/3 ain't going to make it to the promised land, whatever you see that promised land as. So we're talking to the third that agrees that we got this. We got everything we need. We have the skill set. We have the genetic predisposition. We have the resources, family. Only do you know that 75% of every human being on this planet only lives on 3% of the land? Every human being in the planet could stand next to each other in Texas with 10 feet around us, to give you a perspective of how much resource is available. And so the goal is, we have to reacclimate ourselves as a melanated community to our natural order, our natural place within this garden, within this grand ecosystem. We weren't put here to be perpetual consumers. We are the producers. We are the mothers and fathers of civilization. And a part of being a parent of a civilization is being able to feed the family. When we have this B1 Ag conversation, we have to feed the melanated family. We have to support the melanated farmers who have been able to keep their land. This goes through CSA packages. This goes through, and if you can pull the link up later, supporting legislation, supporting different programs in place to actually help the melanated farmers. We see that on a governmental level, this trickle down doesn't really trickle to them as quick as it should. And so as a melanated family, we have to take it upon ourselves. We have to make it a priority of ourselves to contribute where we can. Everybody doesn't necessarily have money to contribute. It would be great if you do, but it's also sweat equity. Okay, maybe I can't go necessarily order a CSA share. I don't have the money, but a brother like Travis Scott comes through and opens a community garden. I'll give 3 hours out of a week. I'll hop on the bus. I'll drive my car, we'll carpool. We'll go put in some time at this garden. We'll go work with some of these youth at this garden. Maybe I come from a family that gardens and I know a little bit about weeding. Maybe I know a little bit about pest control. And so it's everybody drawing from your own personal experience, your own talent to contribute to feeding one another. Because the thing about food, the thing about eating, you know, if we're eating at a table, my mouth is full, right? And so you don't know what my ideology is. You don't know if I'm more science. You don't know if I'm Hebrew Israelite. You don't know if I'm Christian. You don't know if I'm Nation of Islam. You see that I'm a melanated person eating. You see that when we're having this communal experience of enriching ourselves with food, healthy food, it builds us Black better. And so our goal here is to just expand this conversation, plant those seeds of thought. What can I do where I'm at to build this system where the melanated family can eat?
Once again, shout out to Travis Scott, Houston-born rapper. He opens up a community garden in his neighborhood, his childhood neighborhood, where his grandmother gardened in her backyard. She was a source of inspiration. You know, he learned from her garden, and he's passing that same knowledge, that same inspiration, that same same skill, because it is a skill of learning knowing how to grow your own food to these children in his neighborhood. And I have to give him a salute to that. That's big. That's big. And you know, we need more of our youth engaged in agriculture. We need them to have this survival skill of how to grow their own food. We need them to intrinsically and without a doubt just know that if all else fails, I'm not going to starve because I can grow me something to eat. Let's get to it, y'all. And again, here at B1 Ag, we're going to stay pushing the Black algorithm. We're fighting the algorithm by pushing the Black algorithm. That's what we're doing. And that's what we're dedicated to do.
Paying your electric bill month after month, year after year, flat out sucks. However, a new program has arrived that could make you never have to pay another electric.
The mayor of St. Louis, Missouri, barely pausing as...
Sorry about that, y'all. Just trying to get to our video, pushing the Black algorithm. Give me a moment. Go ahead, Farm Brown, while I get this together.
I was just going to say, I noticed in the video with Travis Scott, he had on some nice shoes. I think that says a lot when we talk about honoring our ancestors. When we talk about honoring those before us, you know, had to work in the Black algorithm, ancestors they mess under disparaging conditions. Sometimes, you know, when I garden, when I get out in the field, I wear some of my nice shoes, as if to say none of this matters. You know, we can get fly in the garden, family. Pushing the Black algorithm. Ancestors, they master the systems. We raising your bosses, no victims. Planting that knowledge curriculum. Nursing the boots with the nutrients. The darker the berry like Nubian. Dropping receipts like I'm Julian. The streets with that food like Peruvian. Trapping and merging the fruits and the veggies. CSA boxes, my package is heavy. Ship across down in the bed of my Chevy. Printing them up, growing longer than heavy. If you say ready, you ain't gotta scramble. Battle like farmers and growers, no gamble. We taming our fingers, the gamers in shambles. That's what that melanin carry the miracle. Mothers and fathers in civilization. Like to the garden with true cultivation. Building back gratitude like innovation. Be one community, going the nation. Genetically designed to be the toughest. Loving that growth mindset. Codified, now we focus farming on track. Be the fan, break bread with them. Look at that. Pushing that B1 algorithm. Now, watch me get them. Watch me get them. Pushing that B1 algorithm. Be the fan, break bread with them. Pushing that B1 algorithm.
Watch me get 'em, watch me get 'em. That. It's in the B1 Ag with
What I would hope that everyone's seen in that video pushing the black algorithm, you seen the kids. They were fully engaged. They were having fun. They were smiling. You know, you seen the old and the young all working together, right? You seen people out there in their Jordans. You seen people out there, you know, in their fashion, in their fashions. It doesn't matter. You seen people together. That's what agriculture does. That's what food does. It brings people, communities together. And people learn from one another. So we're gonna keep pushing this black algorithm. We're gonna keep pushing this idea of food security. It is so important. It's more important than a lot of us even realize, because a lot of us aren't food insecure. You know, if you're sitting here watching this on your computer, laptop, or your cell phone, more than likely you can get something to eat. But there are a lot of us who can't. And at the end of the day, if the have-nots can't get anything to eat, the only thing left to eat is the haves. So let's make sure that we all have a seat at the dinner table. But shout out to Travis Scott. He's honoring his grandmother, opens a garden at the Houston Elementary School in the same neighborhood which he grew up in. Let's all take a page from Travis Scott. Let's go back to our neighborhoods. Let's go back to our neighborhoods, or go out within our neighborhoods where we are now, and plant a seed. Let's plant some seeds for the future. And again, like, share, subscribe. B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast on YouTube. Any comments, you want to hit us up, you need some information, you want to share some information, b1aghiphop@gmail.com. And at the end of the day, if you really, really want to know something, what do the people need to do, Farmer Brown?
If you really want to know something, family, we're in our finest hour. Let's come together and learn how to grow something.
There it is. Let's have a great weekend. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to show love, stay in that growth mind state, and B1 Ag. I'm John Henry Harris, Farmer Brown DMC. See you soon. Peace.